No, I have met men in Isaan who have built houses, paid dowries, and financed rice harvests, and still could not find their name on a single sheet of legal paper. Besides, most of them were still smiling. That is either love or heat stroke, possibly both. There are also a certain type of Western man who comes to Thailand and decides with absolute confidence that he understands everything after 2 weeks and a Chang beer. This video is not for him. This video is a polite warning to everyone else. Let me tell you about the bloke who arrived in Thailand with a pension, a romantic dream, and absolutely no idea what sinsod meant. Spoiler, he left with considerably less pension and considerably more wisdom. I have been living out here in Isaan and Thailand for more years than I care to admit, and I have watched enough phalangs fall head over flip-flops in love without doing the slightest bit of cultural homework. So today, let's try to fix that, shall we? Right then, settle down, grab yourself a cold one, preferably a Leo. We are not made of money, and let me paint you a picture. It's early evening out here in Isaan, the northeast corner of Thailand that most tourists skip because it does not have a beach. Good, more room for the rest of us. The sun is doing that magnificent orange thing it does every single night. The frogs are warming up their evening chorus, and somewhere nearby someone is cooking something that smells absolutely sensational over a charcoal fire. This, my friends, is a Thailand that does not appear in the glossy brochures. Besides, it is the Thailand where a remarkable number of Western men, mostly middle-aged, mostly well-intentioned, often recently divorced, have arrived with stars in their eyes, wallets in their back pockets, and absolutely no understanding on how love, money, family, and property actually work around here. Now, I want to be crystal clear before we go any further. I'm not here to bash Thai women or Thai culture or Western men for that matter. What I'm here to do is have an honest conversation, the kind that your friends back home in Wolverhampton or Wisconsin probably cannot have with you, because they have never sat on a wooden porch in 40-degree heat watching a water buffalo wander past while contemplating the complexities of cross-cultural romance. I have, many times. Besides, I have learned a thing or two. Let us start at the beginning, shall we? Because before we get to the house papers and the dowry conversations, we need to address something that sits underneath all of it like a cracked tile that nobody wants to mention. A significant chunk of what Western men believe about Thai women and Thai relationships in general is built on prejudice. Not always malicious prejudice. Sometimes it is the lazy inherited sort, the assumptions picked up from blokes down the pub, dodgy internet forums, or, heaven help us, stories from men who spent 72 hours in Pattaya and now consider themselves experts on Thai culture. The stereotype runs something like this. Thai women are only after money. They will marry a Farang for a visa. The family is a financial black hole, and if she seems too good to be true, she is playing you like a second-hand piano. Now, are there bad actors in Thailand? Of course there are. Show me a country where they are not. However, here is what the stereotype merchants conveniently ignore. The vast, overwhelming majority of Thai women in serious relationships with foreign men are doing exactly what women everywhere do, trying to build a decent life with someone they genuinely care about, while also navigating the very real and deeply felt obligation to support their families. That second part, family obligation, is where many Western men come unstuck. Not because they are being deceived, however, because they have arrived with a Western framework for relationships and try to apply it wholesale to a completely different cultural context. Besides that, dear viewer, is not a Thai problem. That is a homework problem. Which brings us inevitably to sin sod. Sin sod is the Thai bride price, a payment made by the groom's family to the bride's family before marriage. And if there are 3 words guaranteed to send a Farang into a mild panic, it is those 3 words. Now, I have seen the online arguments, I have read the forums, men convinced they are being shaken down, men who have refused on principle, men who are paid cheerfully, and men who have negotiated as if they were haggling over a second-hand tractor. Here is the thing though, and I cannot stress this enough. Sin sod is not a purchase price. You are not buying a wife. Nobody is being sold. The practice is older than Western banking, older than most Western nations, and it serves a specific cultural purpose. It demonstrates that the groom is financially capable and that he respects the bride's family and that he values her. It is in essence a public statement of seriousness. The amount varies enormously, and it is often returned to the couple after the ceremony or used to help set up the household. In many rural Isaan families, it is as much about face and community standing as it is about actual money. To refuse it outright or to treat it with contempt is to start a marriage by telling your future wife's family that you do not respect their traditions. Brilliant start, that. Does the system get abused? Occasionally, yes. Unreasonably high demands from families who have spotted a wealthy foreigner are not unheard of. This is where a sensible, honest conversation with your partner before the negotiations begin is absolutely essential. A Thai woman who loves you and respects you will not allow her family to fleece you. Besides, if she does, well, that tells you something important too. Right. Now for the one that really gets people's blood pressure going, the house situation. So, you have met someone wonderful, you have negotiated or navigated the sin sod, you have smiled politely through approximately 400 family gatherings and eaten things you cannot identify but have decided to enjoy anyway. You decide to build or buy a house together in Thailand. Then quietly, without anyone making a fuss about it, you discover your name is not on the title deed. Not on the Chinook, not on the Norsol Sam, nowhere. Legally speaking, the property belongs to your partner or her family or possibly her mother. And you are essentially a very committed and well-funded house guest. Now, pause. Before you ring your solicitor or lawyer, let me tell you something that will either reassure you or absolutely will not, depending on your disposition. This is not a conspiracy. This is Thai law. Foreigners cannot own freehold land in Thailand. Full stop. End of. It is written right there in the Foreign Business Act and the Land Code. Your name was never going to be on those papers. The system was never designed for it. So, what can a foreigner do? Quite a lot, actually, if you approach it intelligently. Long-term lease agreements, properly drafted by a reputable Thai lawyer, can give you a 30-year renewable rights. Structures involving Thai companies exist, though they come with their own complexities. Condominiums can be owned outright in a foreigner's name, providing foreigners hold no more than 49% of units in the building. None of this is secret. It is all publicly available information. The problem is not the law, it is the number of people who skip this research entirely because they were too busy being in love. Besides, look, I understand love. Love is wonderful. Love makes the birds sing and the rice fields gleam. Nevertheless, love does not draft property agreements. A good lawyer does that. Let's talk about money flowing into the family, because this is the cultural contrast which causes more arguments in cross-cultural time relationships than almost anything else does. In Western countries, broadly speaking, once you leave home, your financial obligations to your parents are, shall we say, limited. You might buy them a Christmas present, maybe help out in a genuine emergency. However, the idea that a significant portion of your monthly income should routinely go back to your parents and siblings. Most Western people would find that unusual. In Thailand, and particularly in rural Isaan, where families have worked the land for generations and social safety nets are thin on the ground, supporting your parents is not optional. It is not a request. It is a moral and social obligation as deeply embedded in Thai culture as Sunday roast is in mine. A Thai woman who does not help support her parents when she is able to is not just seen as selfish, she is seen as a failure of basic human duty. This is not manipulation, this is culture. The mistake many Western partners make is treating every baht sent home as a direct subtraction from the relationship, as evidence that they are being used, that the family is a bottomless pit. In reality, what they are often witnessing is a woman doing exactly what her culture has always asked her to do, and feeling the very Western disapproval of a partner who has not taken the time to understand why. Does this mean you sign a blank check? Of course not. Open, honest financial conversations are essential in any relationship, and this is no different. Understanding does not mean unlimited funding. It means approaching the conversation with respect rather than suspicion. So, how do you actually make this work? How do you build a genuine, lasting relationship across these cultural fault lines? I will tell you what I have observed and what the long-term couples I know out here have in common. They communicate, not the polite surface kind, the real, sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes clumsy kind that happens when you do not share a first language and you have to work harder than normal to actually understand each other. That effect, that willingness to struggle toward genuine understanding, tends to build something rather solid. They learn, not just Thai phrases, though those help enormously, and the family will adore you for trying, but Thai ways of thinking, the concept of face, the importance of calm, the value placed on my pen right, roughly translated as never mind, though it is far richer than that. Learning these things changes how you interpret situations entirely. They involve the family rather than resenting it. The Farangs who thrive out here are the ones who have sat with their mother eating her cooking, helped with the farm when needed, and has treated the family not as an inconvenience but as the context within which their partner was shaped. You want to understand the woman you love? Understand where she comes from. Finally, they let go of the fantasy, not of love, not of happiness, however, of the idea that a relationship in Thailand is going to look like a relationship in Nottingham. It is not. It will be its own strange, wonderful, occasionally baffling thing, with better food, warmer evenings, and the absolute daily miracle of actually choosing to build something together across two completely different worlds. That is not a lesser kind of love. That is a braver one. So here we are. The sun's nearly gone now. The sky's doing that purple thing it does just before dark. The night insects are taking over from the day birds. And somewhere over there, my wife is probably already wondering why I have not come in for dinner. I will tell you what I think for what it's worth, from someone who has lived it rather than theorized about it from the other side of the planet. Thailand will challenge your assumptions. It will test your patience. It will ask you to put down your cultural certainties and pick up something more useful. Curiosity, humility, a willingness to be wrong about the things you were most confident about. And if you do that, if you actually make the effort, you might just find that what you thought was a complicated, risky, suspicious situation is actually just life. Human life. Messy, loving, family entangled, land titled, complicated, absolutely beautiful life. The man who arrives in Isaan knowing everything will leave knowing very little. The man who arrives knowing nothing but stays curious, he might just end up at home. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a dinner to get to and a wife who will absolutely have something to say about my timing. Right, if any of this rang a bell, hit the like button because the algorithm apparently needs encouragement, much like most of us out here. If you have a story, good, bad or utterly bewildering, drop it in the comments below. What is more, if you know someone who is about to move to Thailand with a romantic dream and no legal advice, please share this video with them, as they will need all the advice, good or bad, they can get before moving here. Consider it a public service. Subscribe if you want more of this sort of thing. I will be here, probably on the porch. Take care and goodbye.